Hello and welcome to week 12. We have a very short week this week due to the holiday. So really all that you have due at by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. is your primary research analysis part 2. And remember, we talked about that last week. We looked at all of the possible examples. So you're just working on that for Wednesday. But I do want to indicate that when you come back, your outline is due on Monday of the week right after, because we kind of need to move rather quickly to the end of the semester at this point. So what I've done is I've included all of the information as we move to that project number 3 in the review section, just to kind of give you a little roadmap of where we're headed. So let's look first at project number 3, putting it together. So you know, because you've been reading these articles for the last couple of months, that you've got an introduction, and that includes the literature review. You've got methods, and that includes all those pieces. You've got your results, your discussion and conclusion, and there's purposes for each of those. This is like the why, this is the how you did your own personal study, this is the what, and this is the so what. Those, what do these findings mean? And then you've got your references. So our introduction, the why, was really your project number 2. Your how was your primary research part 1, and your what and your so what are your primary research section part 2. So you're really putting all of this together to create project number 3. I just wanted to give you a visual so you could think about this is basically how this is going to look once I put all of these pieces together. Once you do put all those pieces together, so after you've finished up your primary research analysis part 2, I encourage you to just simply copy and paste these two things together, your primary research analyses and your project number 2. Put your references page where it needs to go, your appendix, have that all together. And then what you're going to do by Monday of next week is you're going to do what I call a reverse outline. So you put it all together. What I want you to do is just simply number your paragraphs, however many they are, and just a quick sentence or phrase that describes the main idea of each of those paragraphs. You're going to notice that some of these are already pretty much done for you down here. Explains the participants of the survey, explains the instrumentation of the survey. We didn't also do an interview. And tell us when the survey was open, for how long. These will be very easy for you to do. The top part is going to just lay out the main ideas. And you'll want to think about what needs to be moved once you've put this outline together. For sure, your conclusion that was part of project 2 needs to be moved to the end. And you're probably going to need to modify it in some ways. You'll need something that transitions from your secondary research into your primary research. Otherwise, it does look like we've just copied and pasted things together. So you'll want to do that. You'll want to put that together. You'll want to decide if anything needs to be moved. And if you move it in your paper, make sure you change it in the outline as well. But you're going to submit the outline just as a check of the organization of this particular project. And then what you have is a handout that does the same thing as that visual. It gives us the project 2, it adds that primary research, and then it basically, looks at, you might need to expand your introduction now that you've added the primary research. You're going to think about how the project number 2 body paragraphs move from one to the next. You'll want to think about where that counter argument might need to be. You'll definitely, think about the discussion where you combine the two primary research and secondary research findings. And then, like I said, you might need an expanded conclusion. You'll want to think about those headings and seriation, how we're going to guide our reader by chunking the bits of information, just like the articles that you've been reading have done. The final paper should be a minimum of 7 pages long. It should include the title page, the text of your paper, and a references page, as well as your appendix. And what you have here is a sample. So that walks you through all of those pieces, just like we talked about them. And if you have any questions as you begin to do that, don't, always feel free to ask. But what I want you to keep in mind as we go back to the weeks themselves is for week 12, which is a very short week, you're simply going to submit that primary research analysis, the part 2. And then the very beginning of the week for week 13, and I'm just kind of going ahead so that you're aware of these dates. On Monday, you're going to give me that reverse outline so I can check it quickly before Wednesday, maybe give you a suggestion of an additional move you might need to make organizationally. You'll turn in project number 3, the rough draft, by Wednesday. And then as we move into the final weeks, we'll go through that same drill. We'll have the screencast comments. You're going to have a peer review, etc. But I just want you to be prepared because these last weeks of the semester do go quickly. If you have questions, like I said, don't hesitate to ask.